Hey y'all, it's Leah. This is my review for One Piece chapter 1022. Last chapter, we got the conclusion of the Black Maria versus Robin fight, and we get a little cliffhanger with Momo asking Shinobu to turn him into an adult. Even though last chapter was more character focused and linear, this new chapter is packed, and I mean packed like a hot pocket. So let's go ahead and devour this good ass chapter and break down what all happened. So if you're interested in my review for this chapter, then sit back, relax, grab your snacks. And without further ado, let's get to it. So we start the chapter with the official announcement that the Flying Six are defeated. Now I'm seeing people saying that Page 1 and Ulti are not truly done yet due to their defeated faces not being shown, but I think that people are forgetting that Bao Huang announced that the Dino siblings were defeated in chapter 1016. So I personally think that all of them are really down, but if I had to pick one possibly getting back up, I will predict that Page 1 will get back up and possibly fight Usopp again, which I wouldn't mind because Usopp hasn't had a shining moment like his peers. So unless Oda is saving the Usopp greatness for a future arc like Elbaf, I really hope Usopp can do something really significant for this arc. But with the Flying Six, I will say they have been slightly underwhelming as a group to me, but I understand that their purpose are to show the strength and growth of most of the Straw Hats. And like I said in my last review, the Tobbi Roppo that made the most lasting impression on me was Black Maria. To me, Sasaki ended up being underwhelming in most of his combat and in his personality. The highlight of his character was him pulling the helicopter-based move on Frankie. Who's Who could have gotten more character focus, and he just ended up falling flat after being an info dumper, then getting folded by Jinbei. So he started out interesting, but Oda could have done more with his character, unless Oda brings him back for something in the future, but I don't know. Page 1 was underutilized and got done dirty by constantly being a punching bag and not even getting a solid fight. Also, I wish I could have gotten more with his own personality, instead of just him being the passive little brother constantly dealing with his sister's shenanigans. And although Ulti had a pretty good showing of her own strength and has a great character design in my opinion, her character is kind of subjected with three simple traits, which is being cute, bullying or being affectionate to Page 1, and being angry. So she can get kind of stale in personality after seeing her so much in this raid. But one thing I will give her is that girl has crazy durability. I personally feel like out of all the Flying Six, Ulti does have the best durability. But her quote-unquote fight with Nami was poorly executed in my opinion, and I really didn't like how Big Mom was pretty much the one who did most significant damage to her. So as a group, I wish the Flying Six interactions and backgrounds were explored more, but I get that Oda wants to quicken the pace so this arc can finish. And due to me wanting to finish this arc already, the Flying Six being done for this raid doesn't bother me too much as it does for others. We also get word that there are 15 minutes left until Onigashima reaches the Flower Capital, but I know that this basically means 20 to 30 more chapters in Shonen time. So this makes me happy because this means that the Onigashima raid is heading into its final stages, and I'm really excited to see how Kaido gets ultimately defeated. So very interested in how Oda executes the final portion of this raid. I know most in the community doesn't care for the Raizo versus Fukurokuju fight, but I personally really enjoy its showcasing for this chapter. The most notable move to me was Fukurokuju using his earlobes to fight off Raizo, and at this point, I'm used to Oda's quirky creativeness, but I still love and appreciate little weird things like Fukurokuju's earlobes fighting off Raizo being in a wacky series such as this. Oda never stops pulling off weird stunts, and I love it. I admire Raizo's speech and how he has the determination to bring Oden's dream into fruition and making Momo the shogun. And with the Scabbards who ends up being alive by the end of this, I can't wait to see their reactions when the raid succeeds and the borders of Wano open. It's going to be a real emotional moment for sure, and with me being a crybaby, I can foresee future me shedding a lot of tears. I like seeing the slick, dirty, and dishonorable nature of Hawkins. He reminds me of those kind of villains that will do anything they can to win, even if it's sneaky and just plain cruel. And his quiet, sadistic personality is starting to make him look like a top tier member on the enemy side to me. Like he kind of gives me a Kainu vibes with how far he'll go to get the one up. So I really like Hawkins this chapter, and I'm curious as to what Killer is going to do to prevent him from indirectly harming Kid. And speaking of kid, I hope we get a chapter or two to this Big Mom versus Law and Kid fight because I really want to see how they'll tag team against Yonko with their vastly different personalities and fighting styles. So I'm starting to think that with the end of the Flying Six, the more important and stronger members such as the Calamities, Apu, Fukurokuju, Perispero, Hawkins, and the two Yonkos will get their fights focused on as we begin to wind down this raid. King and Queen look pretty intimidating this chapter, so hopefully they don't get the Flying Six treatment with their betrayal. Also, can we respect the fact that Sanji was trying to handle King and Queen at the same time without the raid suit? Like, despite not seeing it, that is a great feat. So this makes me curious if Sanji can handle both King and Queen if he puts on the raid suit. Even though Zoro is going to help him out with King and Queen, I would have loved to see Sanji try to 1v2 King and Queen with his raid suit. Oh, and side note, Chopper in his baby old man form was surprisingly funny this chapter, with him saying, "Zoro, my lad," and stuff like that. So, I wonder how this Perispero versus Neko fight is gonna go. Could Carrot and Wanda get back up and support Neko? Or could Carrot go help out Neko and Wanda go help Inu? Now that would be pretty cool to see. Or it could just be simply Neko facing Perispero with his subordinates helping him out. I just hope that Carrot can get some shine for this raid because she has been heavily background as a character for this arc. Even with her flawed perspective on the Pedro situation, it would be nice to see Carrot have a rematch with Perispero with the help of Neko. Marco has been nothing but a flying clutch for this raid, so since he's leaving King and Queen to Zoro and Sanji, he can either serve as a healer for various people in the raid, or he can go to the rooftop and help out Yamato until Luffy gets back. But I don't think Marco is just going to sit there and do nothing else for this raid. But interesting how he brought up King's race and how these people were once on the Grand Line. So I assume we're either going to get some more background on King and his race during his fight, or possibly later on in the series through some sort of info dumper. But King is becoming more interesting, and I wonder if we'll ever see his face. Now, I love when Marco said, "It's time for the stars to take the stage," because it symbolizes him passing the torch to both Zoro and Sanji and them being the next generation of great pirates. So I have to admit that line gave me a chill. And the end of this chapter was really hype and just a peak moment for this raid, with both Zoro and Sanji using their powerful attacks to land damage on King and Queen. And their dialogue at the end, with them reaffirming their belief that Luffy will be the future Pirate King, that was definitely the icing on the cake for this awesome moment. Hopefully Zoro and Sanji can tag team and fight King and Queen together instead of just having Sanji facing Queen separately and Zoro facing King separately, because that will definitely be more interesting and fun in my opinion. I'm not on the level of being either a Zoro or Sanji stan, but I love them both equally, and I'm happy that they can put their differences aside and take on Kaido's top men for Luffy. So I'm hella excited to see this, and hopefully it can be at least 2 to 3 chapters of Oda solely focusing on this fight. And now that the Flying Six fights are done, the other fights I really want to focus on now are Kid-in-Law versus Big Mom, Inu versus Jack, Killer versus Hawkins, and I want at least 1 or 2 chapters focusing on Yamato versus Kaido before Luffy gets back. So hopefully Oda can give us more of these fights before he ultimately concludes the Luffy versus Kaido fight, and I would really like a Kaido and Yamato flashback soon as well. Overall, I really enjoyed this chapter. This raid is heading into its final stages, and this chapter really felt like a refresher from this very clustered arc. The art in this chapter was really damn good. The double page spread of King and Queen, the close-ups of Hawkins' face, the front close-up of Onigashima, Marco pushing up his glasses, and the final double page spread of Zoro and Sanji kicking ass. The art in this chapter was very detailed, engaging, and a reminder that Oda still got it. It feels like a big climax for this raid is happening soon, so I'm really looking forward to what Oda is going to pull off next. And I think that chapter 1024 will be the volume ender for volume 101, so I wouldn't be surprised if Oda drops either another hype moment, a major info drop, or a shocking reveal. But we'll just have to wait and see in these upcoming weeks. But anyway, let me know how you felt about this chapter. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or do you have mixed feelings about it? Also, let me know your favorite moment from this chapter and your predictions for the next chapter. If you enjoyed this video, then it'd be really cool if you no like that like button, because you really help your girl out. Please subscribe for more One Piece related videos in the future. Hit that bell notification so you can always be notified whenever I post. Links to my socials and Discord are in the description box below. Please stay safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!